The Aston Spirit launched all the way back in 2018, and embarrassing for us, we never actually got around to reviewing it. It's essentially the younger, but also quite bigger sibling to the Aston Origin, which was fantastic, but this one has a lot more features. So with the price much lower than it was at launch, is this microphone now looking like a bit of a bargain?
Thanks for checking out Radio.co on YouTube. If you want to see more kit reviews, live webinars, and handy broadcasting tips, then give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click the bell icon.
You might remember last month I made a video with some of our favourite XLR mics for 2023, and the Aston Spirit was included in that list. And while we found it couldn't quite compete with the likes of the Shure SM7B, I was extremely impressed of the versatility of this mic with its 3 different polar patterns. By the way, if you'd like to check out that video, please click here. It's really good. You should go check it out. It's really great. Go. Thank you. Bye. And whilst making that video, I found that the price tag had actually dropped by $100 since it launched. So it only seemed fair to check it out, give it a full review, and compare it to the likes of the Origin. Designed, built, and tested here in the UK, the Spirit comes from a long line of quality microphones from renowned audio equipment manufacturer Aston. And no, not the car one. Different guys. From looks alone, this rustic 2mm stainless steel mic looks like you could chuck it out window and it would probably damage you more than it damaged it. I've said it before, but this mic is just, I love it. I love the look of it. It really reminds me of like an old-timey microphone you just don't see anymore. Yeah, it's really cool. But it's not going to be for everyone. It's not the most modern-looking microphone like the Blue Sonar, for example. And podcast users might want to go for something else, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool. The top housing uses a stainless steel spring cage structure in place of a conventional basket. So if the mic suffers a knock, the cage absorbs the impact without damaging the parts inside. Simply put, the Aston Spirit is built like a tank. And for those that aren't too impressed with the looks, it's definitely more built with functionality in mind, so don't let that put you off. The unboxing experience itself isn't too fancy. Aston uses pretty low budget materials for their boxes and like recyclable stuff, which is great. But it just means, yeah, your unboxing is not going to be as nice as say if you bought a Blue Sonar. You're just going to get what you need. Unfortunately as well, that does mean that the pop shield is not included. That comes separately and you're gonna have to pay for that, which is obviously not ideal. But underneath this steampunkness is actually a built-in pop shield. So much like on the Rode Pod mic, for example, you don't need to have one outside. Really, it should be alright on its own. Whether or not you think that's going to be enough is totally up to you. But yeah, there's one built in if you'd like that sort of thing. Unlike other mics as well, you're going to get your screw mount built into the top of the microphone rather than having it like sort of hanging loose like on the Shure SM7B, which I kind of see as a positive. It's not going to jangle about as much, I think. It's going to be quite stiff, as long as you're using a boom arm, that is, which obviously we do recommend. In terms of what's on the microphone itself, of course, you get the 3 polar patterns, which you can switch between very easily. There's also a frequency range switch, which you can switch between 0, -10, and -20 decibels. And you're also going to get a filter pass switch as well. All of these switches are built very well. The only issue I can find is that once you put the shot mount on, it becomes a bit of a pain trying to switch them. But, I mean, how likely are you going to switch them during recording? Probably not that likely. The Spirit is a condenser mic, so you're going to need phantom power to get it working, and a lot of the time you're going to need to put in a bit more effort to get the best out of it. But this can often be very rewarding, as condenser mics are famously very good for complex sounds and brilliant for studio environment. So if you do a lot of stuff in the field, I'm afraid this one probably isn't for you. In terms of specs, you have 20 Hz to 20 kHz of frequency, 80 decibels of signal to noise ratio. It weighs in at 625 grams, and the price is currently £339. So what are the 3 polar patterns, and are they very good? Well, you're listening to one right now. You're listening to Cardioid, and you have been throughout this whole video. Cardioid is definitely where this mic shines, I think, but you also get the choice of omnidirectional, which of course gives you a sort of 360 sound if you need that, and then you're also going to get figure of 8, which gives you a little bit at the front of the mic and a little bit at the back of the mic. Both of these sound pretty good, but I think Cardioid works best for my voice personally and just gives it a bit of bass and a bit of a clearer sound. Obviously with like omnidirectional, you're going to pick up everything that's around you. And we're not in the quietest of offices, so it's going to pick up a bit of background noise. The low pass filter included is obviously another great way of getting rid of unwanted sounds. When enabled, low frequency sounds like your computer's humming or far off distractions like noise outside the office shouldn't get picked up as well as it normally would. Your body's like day-old rice. If it ain't warmed up properly, something real bad can happen. So that's what Cardioid sounded like. Let's hear what omnidirectional sounds like. So this is omnidirectional. should hear a bit of a difference. And if we switch it over to... And now we switch to figure 8, and probably sounds a bit noisier than the other two. But let me know down in the comments if you can hear much of a difference. Do or do not. There is no try. There is no try. There is no try. Let's compare it now to the Origin and see which one we think sounds best. Oh, look how tiny it is. Oh. Now, when comparing the Spirit to its younger sibling, the Origin, there's only two real things you need to look out for. The Origin is a transformerless LDC, but the Spirit has a transformer balance LDC. In plain English, that basically means the Spirit should sound smoother. And then the obvious difference is, of course, that the Spirit has 3 polar patterns, while the Origin is only a cardioid mic. So on paper, the Spirit should be superior to the Origin. Comes in at about $100 cheaper than the Spirit, and of course, you're only going to get cardioid, but say if you only want cardioid, this could be a great little deal for you. And as you can hear, it sounds pretty good too. I'm going to do a little comparison now between the two to see which sounds the best. So let's have a look. If we're kind and polite, the world will be right. If we're kind and polite, the world will be right. Like I said before, in our best XLR of 2023 video, we also compared it to the likes of the Blue Sonar, the Shure SM7B. And if you'd like to see how it shapes up with them, click the video here. So, does the Aston Spirit justify its new price tag? In my opinion, yes. But you've got to be really into it. Compared to other mics on the market, including its younger sibling, the Origin, it does hold up very well. Of course, though, it's a condenser mic, so like I said before, it's not going to be as easy as some of the other mics that are popular right now. But the mic itself sounds smooth, with nice peak-free brightness and a few settings that make it perfect for different situations. Overall, the Spirit is a good, versatile mic that I think broadcast will enjoy. It's a shame about the pop shield not being included, and the overall look won't be to everyone's taste, but you won't find another mic with this level of quality, versatility and polar patterns at the $300 price tag. Please let us know what you think of the Aston Spirit in the comments below, and like always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click like, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell. But until next time, thank you very much for watching and happy broadcasting.
And just before you go, how would you like to launch your very own online radio station? Surprisingly, it's a lot simpler than you may think. And the absolute best way to get started is by chatting to myself or another member of the Radio.co team. To do that, just head to Radio.co/demo to schedule a video call with us, where we'll discuss your plans, answer your questions, and of course, guide you around the Radio.co software.